The internet is going nuts for Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, and we have to talk about it. This is the newest installment into the Shrek franchise, which Dreamworks Studio has so perfectly crafted up until today. This one has made over $200 million at the box office by the time that this video is being recorded, which is crazy considering that the first Puss in Boots movie came out over 11 years ago. It's a total success both in the US and internationally, as it's one of the first 10 movies to break over $100 million internationally since the Panini began. The main question is simple. Why? Well, the easiest way to break this down is the fact that Puss in Boots: The Last Wish breaks most of the stereotypes that we know and love from previous movies, where most of the Shrek franchise is centered around the comedy, the double entendres, and obviously being as a sort of satire and parody to the folklore and fairy tale movies that we've seen in the past. This one sets up a cohesive fairy tale movie structure, but it also takes you deep into the mental crux of discussing what is the true purpose of living a fulfilling life. Without giving too much away, the movie is basically centered around Puss in Boots as he discovers that this is his final life. You know when they say that gatitos have 9 lives? Well, this man has clearly not gotten the memo and has lived an excessive lifestyle, basically squandering away 8 of his finite 9 lives. The best thing this film has going for it is how it's able to handle the complex themes that it wants to discuss while also handling a solid comedic tone. Dreamworks made the processing of PTSD, trauma, and even coming to grips with your own mortality accessible to a 7-year-old. So let's take it from the beginning. Let's talk about the cinematography. I'm happy to say this entry outshines every single of its predecessors within the Shrek franchise because it is daring and willing to look at a different set of animation styles. I'm not kidding you when I say this film looks like it's a moving painting. That is due in large part to the inspiration that the production designer Nate Ragg had from Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. As you go through the film, you're going to realize that we are shifting between different animation styles in every single action set piece. Just like in the Spider-Verse, during the big action moments, you are shifting between 12 frames per second, 24 frames per second, and full 60 FPS, which gives it a totally different breath of fresh air to traditional animation styles. You feel every hit, it feels like a grandiose experiment. Combine that with some excellent design and use of color, and you have a breathtaking, beautiful masterpiece, at least on the visual side. So yeah, the film looks good, but what else can it offer? In contrast to the previous Shrek movies, which lean heavily into the comedic side of the equation, this one delivers a solid, cohesive storyline that also serves as a tremendous character study. Puss in Boots has been going around willy-nilly sacrificing everything just for funs, laughs, and of course, ignoring the fact that he doesn't feel whole inside. Being regarded as a legend and going on swashbuckling adventures is the only way that he can process his own identity. So it is at this point that I'm gonna give you a spoiler warning. If you haven't seen the movie, make sure you drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and come back after you finish it. The crux of this film is how Puss in Boots is able to directly interact with the one, the only, the wolf of death. I'm actually gonna use his own words, not poetically, not metaphorically. The wolf is death, straight up. Every single moment that you see the wolf on screen, there's an eerie feeling of unpleasantness and darkness that you feel both as an audience member and you can see directly through Puss's reactions. He sees his previous lives flash before his eyes, his previous friendships that he has made, and every single moment that he has missed because he's focusing on the wrong things. I'm not gonna give away everything that happens in the film. I just wanted to let you know that this connection between processing death and being able to identify the fact that you're not living the life that you should be, as well as embracing every single second that you are alive, is such a complex idea that is put into a Dreamworks movie. I am so happy that this came to light. I will say, however, this movie is not perfect. I wasn't particularly a big fan of what is supposed to be the main villain of the story, Big Jack Horner. You know, the kid from the nursery rhyme. In this case, he's basically got a full-ass Mary Poppins bag full of every single magical artifact in Fantasyland, and he's trying to basically take away Puss's last wish. Besides me not liking the main villain, I do feel that during the second act of the film, we do get a little bit sidetracked, and the movie struggles at handling its two very important tones of blending in comedy with the morbid realization that our lives are not infinite. So thematically and tonally, it's a little bit shaky in the middle, but overall, it's obviously solid. And that's not just me saying it. The internet absolutely loves this film. Although I always say to never let yourself go through the ratings that you see on Rotten Tomatoes, there is nearly universal acclaim for this project, with 96% of the critics agreeing that it's awesome and also getting 93% 93% on the audience side. It could have changed by the time that this video is being uploaded, but you get the gist. Everybody likes this shit. The project hosts amazing visuals, a pretty solid sound design and score, which we know and love from the Shrek franchise, and of course, some pretty interesting themes that make this a unique blend of story and style. When it comes to the cast, it was pretty solid the entire way through. Antonio Banderas is reprising his role as Puss in Boots, Selma Hayek is coming back as Kitty Softpaws, Harvey Guillén did an amazing job as Perrito, he's the beautiful companion everybody wants to know and love. The ones that I did not expect, however, were the ones coming from the secondary cast. Let me read this to you. We got Florence Pugh as Goldilocks, Olivia Colman as Mama Bear, Ray Winstone as Papa Bear, and then Samson Kayo as Baby Bear. Not to mention the fact that as soon as Big Jack Horner opened its mouth, I was like, bro, they got John Mulaney in this bitch? And yeah, it all came together at the end when I realized that Wagner Moura, aka Pablo Escobar from Narcos, is playing the wolf, aka Death. Although it is not perfect, I do believe that Puss in Boots: The Last Witch is the perfect blend of mixing in the aesthetic of classical folklore while also staying true to the roots of the Dreamworks Shrek universe. It gave us a great visual spectacle with one of the best animated movie villains that we have seen in a while, and like any other major movie should, it makes you think about your own life choices and what the best parts of living your life are. Setting your priorities, being entertained, and everything in between. I like it. Solid. Even if you're just a casual fan and not really interested in the lore that comes from the Shrek franchise, this is a solid A-. And it has the Tropical Joe seal of approval when it comes to rewatchability. If you saw the film, let me know what you thought about it in the comments down below. And also, if you want to learn more about the film itself, make sure you subscribe to the channel with the noti bell on, because I'm going to be dropping a video covering every single major Easter egg that you might have missed in this film. With that said, that is all it from me, familia. Make sure you crack a smile, just ride the wave, and I'll see you on the next one.